Let me help ya,
he said, taking my heavy duffel from me. I couldn't stop the smile from spreading over my face. This man was just too much. Guess this is the southern charm I've seen in movies. I followed him over to the trunk and he opened the passenger side door for me. I looked at the truck, then back at him. How am I supposed to get in? I asked him shyly. I'm on the short side, 5'3" to be exact, so I don't think I could even run and jump in this thing. He laughed, tossing my bag into the pickup and turning to me. Without warning, he grabbed me by my waist, hoisting me into the truck. It felt like shockwaves blowing through my body when he touched me. I wasn't sure what was causing it though. I really need some sleep, I thought to myself. I watched as he walked around the front and climbed in. Good grief, this man looked like a Greek god. The pickup started with a rumble.
So, care to explain?
He asked. I looked at him, still not sure I should answer.
Let's start with why you're running.
He was being patient and kind with me, something I wasn't used to. Well, it all kind of goes together. You swear it will stay between the two of us? I needed to hear it one more time. He nodded in agreement. Okay, so I'm human? It sounded more like a question than a fact. Dane just smiled. I'm human and I'm pregnant. There was no stopping now. I didn't give him a chance to say anything. I got pregnant by a werewolf and he doesn't want the baby and told me to get an abortion. He said, and I quote, "I don't want a half-breed." So I left. I don't know anything about werewolves, and honestly, I'm terrified of having this baby, but I was given up as a baby, and I won't do that to my kid. I didn't know what else to do. I'm scared of him, and that's why I don't want it getting out that I'm here. I looked at Dane, who was now squeezing the steering wheel so tight I thought it would break in half. He looked pissed. I'm sorry. You can take me back to my car. I'll leave. I really don't want any problems. I turned to the window, trying to hide the tears streaming down my face. The pickup stopped in the middle of the road.
Look at me,
Dane commanded. I wiped my face before turning to face him.
You are my mate. No one will hurt you. I swear on my life, please don't cry.
He swiped his thumb gently under my eyes, wiping more tears away. I don't know what that means, and I don't need you to fight my battles. I'm more than capable. I don't know why I was suddenly angry, but I didn't want another werewolf to use me and throw me to the side as Cain did. I wouldn't let that happen.
This is our guest house. It's not much, but I hope you're comfortable,
Dane told me as he parked right in front of the large wraparound porch. Not much? I questioned him. Are you being sarcastic? I wasn't sure if he believed that or if he was just trying to be funny. He shook his head slowly at me, confusion showing on his face.
No, I'm not being sarcastic. I understand that it's not as much as what most people have, but we don't believe in wasting money on material things unless it's something we really need. We would rather our money go to helping others in the pack.
I could hear the hurt in his voice. I'm sorry, this is more than I've ever had. I mean, you wouldn't have known, but this place looks gorgeous just from the outside. I can't imagine what the inside looks like. I felt a little ashamed of sounding so rude to him. He didn't waste any more time as he jumped out and came around the pickup to help me out. Don't let me fall, I told him, giggling.
Never,
he replied as he slipped his hands around my waist and sat me on my feet. The tingles were slowly spreading from my hips throughout the rest of my body, freezing me in place. I'd never felt anything quite like this before, and honestly, it scared me. With Cain, there was a connection. Oh, I had thought so. His touch was warm. It always felt like his hands left a trail of fire behind them. It was not bad. It was actually very nice. But this was something much stronger. I wasn't sure if he could feel it or not. How going crazy at this point, who knows? The longer he left his hands on my hips, the more I could feel the heat building between my legs. One hand reached up, caressing the side of my face gently, while the other stayed on my hip. Before I knew what I was doing, I had already leaned into his touch. It just felt so right, so calming. Like I was safe as long as he was touching me, making me forget all my problems. The whole world seemed right at that moment.
Alpha, hey man, I've been trying to reach you. Where the hell have you been?
A man yelled across the larger house's backyard as he quickly made his way over to us. I heard a slight growl from Dane as he pulled away from me. Instantly, I missed his touch.
Doesn't concern you right now. Remember who you're talking to, Beta, Dane said in a deep, threatening tone. The man stopped walking, bowing his head to Dane. Sorry, Alpha, no disrespect. I'll be in to talk to you as soon as I'm done here.
The man nodded at Dane and quickly spun on his heel, returning to the other house. Won't your girlfriend or wife get pissed about you babysitting another girl? I swear I don't know what has gotten into me. I'm usually never this outspoken, and here I am being a smartass to a man that could literally break me like a twig. I felt a twinge of pain at the thought of him being with another girl. That's weird. He chuckled.
I guess they probably wouldn't like it much if I had one.
Wait, he's single? I couldn't help but wonder why. This man was drop-dead gorgeous and could probably have any girl he wanted drooling at his feet. Wonder what's wrong with him. Anger issues? I assumed out loud. Lord, help me keep my mouth shut. I'm sorry, I don't know what the hell has gotten into me. I swear I'm not usually like this. I was becoming embarrassed about the fact that I couldn't seem to keep my thoughts to myself and my mouth shut. My stomach chose that moment to rumble loudly, causing my cheeks to deepen even more. Dane stood.
What are you hungry for?
He asked me. I can make myself a sandwich or something, it's okay. I stood up, making my way to the kitchen. I wasn't scared anymore. Dane seemed to have that effect on me. Dane's hands grabbed me around the waist, sending shock waves through my entire body, and gently set me down on one of the bar stools.
Nice try, he smirked at me. But I asked what you were hungry for. I want to make something for you.
I felt so out of place. I have never had someone treat me the way Dane was, and I honestly wasn't sure how to act.
And to answer your question, I tend to have a short temper, but that's not why I'm single. I would never hurt an innocent woman or child, no matter how angry I was. That's not who I am.
Dane brought me out of my thoughts as he broke the silence.
So, tell me about yourself, Holly.
My heart rate started picking up. I still wasn't sure if I should tell him anything or not.
I promise whatever you will tell me will stay between us.
His voice was so smooth and confident as he spoke. I sat silently, still having an internal battle about how much I should tell him. Part of me knew I could trust him, but part of me still wasn't sure.
Why don't you start with something simple, like where you grew up?
I took a deep breath as I thought about it. That is easy to answer. I grew up in the system. I was abandoned as a baby and no one ever wanted me. So that was my childhood. Not too much to talk about. He stood silently as he plated our food.
I'm sorry that you had that kind of life.
He slid my plate in front of me before turning and pouring me a cup of tea and handing it to me. He took a seat across from me with his plate of food, waiting for me to continue. I started working when I was 16 and got my first apartment and car when I turned 18. Waitressing mostly, but was saving to go to college. His eyes seemed to light up.
What do you want to study?
He'd been so quiet while I talked that I had started to believe he wasn't even listening. Haven't decided for sure yet, but either an elementary teacher or counselor, something with kids. I want to help kids somehow. I took a big bite of my burger. This is so good, I told him as I took another bite. He chuckled softly.
Tell me about this ex of yours. What's his name?
His tone was more serious than before. And with that, my anxiety started flooding through me. Dane sat eating his burger, patiently waiting for me to answer him. I convinced myself that there was no way he could know Kane, so it didn't matter. So I met him at the diner I worked at. Already knew of him, he's the town's playboy. At first he was nice. Well, when it was just him and me anyway. We dated for about 2 months. He was my first boyfriend. I paused, thinking about Kane. Honestly, he was my first everything. I cleared my throat, deciding what to say next. Once I finally decided to give myself completely to him is when everything changed. One time. That's all it was, one time. I felt a tear slip down my face. I regret ever giving Kane even a second of my time. I looked at Dane as I wiped my face, pulling myself back together. He told me after that he was a werewolf, and if anyone found out that, I knew I would be in danger. I wanted to believe that he was mentally unstable, but I saw his eyes change, and I swear he growled. I watched Dane, waiting for him to start laughing, but then again, he said he's an alpha.
Why are you scared of him?
Did he hit you? Dane questioned. His whole body seemed to tense, and when he looked up, I saw his eyes swirl with a light grey. He didn't hit me. He got a little rough when I told him I was pregnant. Of course, at first, he tried to deny it was his. I scoffed at the memories. I might be many things, but a whore wasn't one of them.
What happened after that?
Dane questioned further. I could tell he was trying to hide his anger from me. I didn't want to talk about Kane anymore, so I stood and grabbed my phone, unlocking it quickly and opening my text messages. After setting my dishes in the sink, I handed the phone to Dane and walked into the living room. I sat on the couch, snuggling into the blankets, and waited for Dane to come back in there. Finally, Dane came and sat next to me, handing me my phone back. I could feel the anger rolling off him in waves. I wasn't trying to make you mad, I said quietly.
I don't want you having any contact with him. If he calls or messages you again, let me talk to him,
Dane said through gritted teeth. What? I haven't even known this man for a full 24 hours yet. Who the hell did he think he was telling me I couldn't talk to someone? Now I was mad. What is it with men trying to tell me what to do? I stood from the couch, dropping the blankets onto the floor. First Kane tries to tell me I can't keep this baby, my baby, and now you, who I just met, are trying to tell me who I can and cannot talk to. This is bullshit. I'm leaving in the morning. I spun on my heel and stormed off into the master bedroom, slamming the door a little harder than I meant to.